Welcome back to the Teacher's AI Cafe. I'm Kane, a teacher and a parent who wants AI to give us back our time. I share practical classroom-tested AI strategies to cut down your workload, improve your feedback and reduce stress so you can get your evenings back and be more present with your friends and family. No jargon, just actionable steps. Grab your mug. Now let's get going. Welcome to this week's AI Tech Update for Educators. This is on 2nd of February 2026. And can you believe it's February already? The time is already flying. 1 month into the new year. So this week changes. There's a few common themes. Basically, AI tools moving from side experiments into center of the platforms many schools already use. I'm going to cover 4 main things. So the first thing is model changes in ChatGPT. So OpenAI is going to retire 4.0. I think it's O, yes, and not 0. Several related models on February 13th in a couple of weeks. It's including 4.1, 4.1 mini, and O4 mini, which at one point were the flagship models. And because basically all activities moved up to 5.1 or 5.2. And this is obviously just formalizes what's been happening anyway within the system. 2 points matter. One, if you've grown used to the 4.0 tone and behavior, any workflows built around it will change or modify, so you might need to review. It's a reminder that specific models inside commercial platforms are only temporary because they're always updating them, usually for the better. So when we design task professional learning around a particular model, we should assume it will change or disappear and have that planned obsolescence in mind for that particular model, but obviously it runs on new models anyway. At the same time, the ChatGPT or OpenAI have also launched a thing called Prism. Now it's a free one, which is an AI native workspace for scientific and technical writing. So instead of drafting in word processor, passing off pasting in the chat and vice versa, users can work in a LaTeX-ready environment. If you know about LaTeX, that's a language used within the scientific area, where 5.2 is embedded into the document, handles citations, formatting, real-time collab, while reasoning over an entire project. It's primarily aimed at researchers. In fact, it's free. You could actually use it for student-friendly versions, like extended essay, historical investigation, science projects. And because AI is present from the first notes to the final draft, if you want that. Key challenge will maintain things like academic integrity and genuine student thinking, which is why we have them at school. So what's happened on Claude? So Claude have extended its model context protocol with a thing called MCP apps. So tools, things like Slack, Figma, Canva, and as Ana, which I don't know what that is, and can open up interactive apps directly inside Claude, similar to what I spoke about previously with ChatGPT. Users can now see and edit the actual Canva deck or Slack message, for example, in the chat window. They just not receive text descriptions. If you're using things, I guess the most notable one for teachers is Canva. I use Canva with my students, so the fact that you can interact with it directly, like you can in ChatGPT, be interesting to see how they've done it differently to ChatGPT's model and see how they can have a comparison. Might be worth a look at some point. And the next one is Copilot. I was talking to a colleague today, and they're really enjoying using Copilot in education. So what's come this month is Copilot Chat Insights has been expanded. So with a single Copilot license, you can see the adoption patterns and app level usage, which is really good for schools controlling it. There are some new voice capabilities, including Outlook, mobile catch-up mode, that summarizes unread mail, guides, hands-free responses, voice chats, and draws on some personal memory settings. And the person I was chatting to today, teacher in the interview, was talking about how the email component is actually really handy. So finally, a different story. So another story from India. So India is obviously trying to use a lot of AI in their different systems, maybe because I guess there's so many people and lack of funding. So AI fills the gaps in there compared to different places in the world. So they've announced another AI initiative for students, educators. Search is gaining study mode that generates guides, quizzes, learning plans in a side panel. And this is actually in Google India. So Google Classroom Gemini-based features will support audio and video feedback using insights that flag AI-generated content, automation on common workflows, Google's also holding tools to check whether text has been created by its models. That should be interesting. For teachers, this confirms, once again, the trend. AI functions moving into every platform that we're using. But it's interesting that it can actually potentially highlight things which it believes has been created and edited by its models. And what's the last one we got here? AI-driven school model has been making headlines. This is the Alpha School. So the private network is charging up to $65,000 US a year to attend some locations. And it's been profiled, and I briefly spoke about it before. It's a 2-hour school day, and then they work on lots of different projects of their own personal interest. And I think the model is really cool. Those students complete their academic work in about 2 hours using AI-driven apps, which is they get your mesh, things like English, maths, history, and sciences. They're guided by adults who are often not trained teachers. Then they spend the rest of the day on things like skills, sport, personal projects. The school reports strong test results. Critics raise concerns about the screen time and social development equity. Now, I've only read what I've read online, and there's a couple of things. Yes, they are getting really good scores. But then I bring back to what the top environment is. One, it's a private school. It is a school where parents are paying $65,000 a year. In Australian dollars, that's just under $100,000 a year. It's more than the best private schools here in Australia. So that is a very expensive school per year. Now, these kids are performing well. Now, they're performing well because it's a school and the nature of the school, or are they performing well because their parents are paying $65,000 a year? They're coming from affluent backgrounds with high expectations of what they are going to do well in school, and that's been proven. Demographics affect school performance, because if you come from, say, middle class or well-to-do areas, there's higher expectations of what you'll get out of education. Those kids tend to perform more, be more capable of working in a traditional classroom and so forth. So whether that's the reason for the high scores, I do not know, but I think it's an interesting point, and I'm sure some study will come out at some point highlighting that. But once again, if you're paying that much money, I'll be expecting my child to do very well. The big question is, what will be the long-term impact? Now, raise concerns around things like socializing and that sort of normal development kids go through. But like I said, kids are kids. They'll make friends and socialize. And I guess in those non-online sections, 2 hours a day, I guess the other 4 hours a day, they are interacting with people and developing those skills. But as I say, these developments, AI is increasingly becoming more of their core infrastructure than novelty, and I think that's good. It becomes another tool that we can use if we want to. So the challenge to schools is to respond, as always. And with these 4 updates, I think it's good. If anyone's got an opinion or first-hand experience on the Alpha School and its system, I'd love to hear from you. Drop me an email. My email is actually in the show notes. And yeah, I'd love to hear first-hand experiences, but just looking from an outsider in, or also an educator that get certain type of students, they're going to perform really no matter what environment you put them in. So till then, on Wednesday, I've got another fantastic interview with a teacher. Once again, listening to that. If you're interested in joining me and have a chat, because like I said, people are all different stages. You're starting to hear for the different interviews. Drop me a line. We can do it online, or we can do it in person if you happen to be in Perth, WA. Either way, keep up the good work.